Hey, everybody. Welcome to NRC's Helpful Moment number 93. My name is Jared Flowers, Vice President of National Restaurant Associates, or National Restaurant Consultant, excuse me. Joining us, as always, is Brian Devine, owner and principal of CafeFuel and Top Line Management. We also have with us today owner of Washys Pub in Columbia, Illinois, Washys Saloon in Waterloo, Illinois, where I'm have the pleasure of being right now, spending a few days with him and his wonderful team. Thanks for joining us, Rod.
Hey, guys.
So, Rod, we were discussing the other day about how operators have really pushed through during COVID and to a certain degree fought back against some of these crazy regulations that were forced upon us during COVID, and some for good reason, some for not, depending on who you ask. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and what happened in your county or region here recently, and how your team decided to forge ahead through this challenging time, and sort of how you're doing.
Sure. Well, we're located in Illinois, down by St. Louis, and we're a suburb of St. Louis. So we have a lot of suburban people. We also have a lot of rural. We have farm areas, things like that, small towns. And Illinois is governed entirely by Chicago, which has an entirely different demographic, entirely different population structure. And in March, right around St. Patrick's Day, same as everybody else, they said, well, you got to close completely, do carry out only. But I have a 7,000 square foot, music venue, bar. We closed down. We did what we had to do. We were closed for 10 weeks. They let us slowly open back up. And then, based on a positivity rating in September, they started to say that our region, they broke Illinois up into smaller regions. We were going to have to close again to indoor dining. We have to do all this other stuff. And fortunately, we're in a county that's not been hit very hard outside of the elder care, nursing home facilities. Our county health department is right across the street from the saloon there, and they come in to eat all the time. So during all of COVID, I consulted with the health department. Hey, what do you think we should do? We got an employee that tested positive after they came back from vacation. We had this customer that called that said they had. What should we do? So when Illinois said we were going to close down again, they said, listen, we think we do contact tracing. If there's a problem, we will come let you know. We think that everybody should stay open, and we're not going to prosecute anybody. And being in a small town kind of area, I was able to meet with the state's attorney, and because they were threatening with the Illinois State Police coming down, they were threatening liquor licenses, they were threatening everything they could threaten. State's attorney said, well, listen, if they come down and mess with you, any tickets they write are dead on arrival. Okay. Well, sure enough, they came down because we're kind of, we're one of the bigger places in town. So we were on their radar. They came down, they told us to disperse. We said no. And during this whole time, we also had an attorney retained who's been kind of fighting the governor in some other areas. So we had good advice going in. We were able to win in court, because there's no law in Illinois that says that you can't have indoor dining and they need a court order to shut you down. But before we made that decision, I talked to the health department, I talked to my attorney. I sat down with my managers and my staff, and I said, listen, this is what I want to do, but how do you guys feel about it? Will any of you guys feel unsafe if we don't make customers wear masks? Because in the area we live in, I'm not having that battle, or I'm not making my staff have that battle with all the customers who are going to be angry. Now, if we were in the city, if we were in a progressive kind of area where they would expect all that, it's a different story. But my people are all my customers are all anti-mask. They're all that stuff. If the health department wasn't going to force it on us and my staff didn't want it, they didn't feel unsafe, then we felt good going ahead with that. And, that's what my customers want. That's what my staff wants. So we were lucky to make it work. We've done well recently, which after losing $125,000 in March, April, May, I got a big hole to fill in, but we're making progress.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, it just goes to show you when you're doing the right thing and you're reaching out to those resources that are available to you, there's a lot of information that, it's out there. And, just laying down and playing dead is not always the answer. And Rod is a true testament to that. And, again, he got his fines and then got them tossed out. And
Yeah.
Rod fought the law and Rod won.
Well,
So
Rod made a calculated risk. He didn't just make it up willy-nilly like the people on Facebook. The people on Facebook think that, I'm just out making it up. I'm out about for profit. I'm like, I'm not even making profit, man. You want to see? I was down to my last $10,000, and I'm a CPA. I've been a CPA for 15 years. I had a lot saved for retirement. My wife had always been good about saving. We were down to our last 10 grand. So,
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, Brian, do you have anything for us? Again, Rod, thank you so much for sharing your story. I love for our clients and our industry friends to hear stories like this and how just doing the right thing goes a long way, and to hear how we're turning the corner and you're seeing the business. You've gained that respect from your staff and from your customers by including them in your decision-making process. But, Brian, is there anything on the marketing end or on your side that you would add today?
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to also mention, Rod, what can probably help you and everyone else that's in the same situation where people are thinking that you are one way, but you're another, is try to be as transparent as you can on social media, on your website, but put that information out there so that it's easy for people to find, so that they're not, I don't know, I see this all the time and it's crazy, but people start talking about things they don't know anything about, and it starts to catch and it spreads, and then you're trying to figure out, well, what should I jump in there or not? Don't jump in. Create your own story, right? So make sure that
I put our mask policy and all that online, and I got kind of hosed for it. The Karens got me, and they went to town. I turned off all the comments, but I said, "Here's what we're going to do. We're not going to require customers wear masks. We're going to require staff to wear masks. We're going to do this. We're not going to do this." And
well, you're going to catch it no matter what, right?
So, yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I've grown a thick skin. I've grown a really thick skin especially the last 8 months.
I could only imagine. Well, all I want to make sure that you and everyone else listening knows is that it's not about you're not going to be right. You're just not. You do have to think about who your market is, and you obviously did. And then you took the time to make sure that you were safe and following the guidelines that were provided to you. So all of that is just make sure it's transparent, so that people can at least say, hey, you might be saying this, but here's the reality. So whether you agree or not, that's not relevant. It just gives you more control over the story that's going on behind everything. And so I have the only other thing I wanted to cover today is that, and Ron, hopefully you're doing this, is that when people are coming in, build your list. I know I talk about it a lot, but we are finding now that as you build your list and you get people to, who are coming in that know, like, and trust you, when you reach out to that list more often, believe it or not, the more often you reach out, the better your results. Because I've had people that are like, well, we sent something out about 10, 12 days ago. And I'm like, yeah, that's why it's time to do it again. Because we're finding that as you reach out to that list more often, we're getting a higher percentage of people taking advantage, because they're not forgetting about you, they're remembering you, and they're starting to look forward to getting those reminders, those text messages that you can send out. So I just want to make sure that we think about that too. So be transparent so that you can control the story as much as possible, and then build that list and reach out to the list regularly. So 10 days is sort of, I wouldn't want to go much longer than that. So that's what I wanted to cover today. Jared, any questions about that?
No, not at all. Thank you so much, Brian. Thanks again, Rod. And on behalf of National Restaurant Consultants, thank you. And have a nice day. We'll see you at 94.
Right on. Bye for now, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys.